All right, should be good to go. So, what controversial stuff did you want to talk about?
I honestly didn't even come up with anything. I was just wondering if we could.
Oh, yeah, we can. I mean, do you have anything?
Uh,
I don't really have an agenda. Just kind of bullshitting around. I mean,
I think one thing that has just kind of stuck with me over the last, I don't know, couple months has just been like the whole bit about gender and identity
yeah.
and the sensitivity around that has steadily grown over the last like 2 years or so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like, what is your opinion on that?
Um, I guess I have weird opinion on it. I don't really know my full opinion on it. I guess my opinion is evolving on it. Um, so I fully embrace like if people want to. Are you still there? Are you screen sharing?
Yep.
Oh, hey, there you are.
No,
Nice.
I was just turning on my
Yeah,
camera.
cool, cool. So I fully embrace if people want to be different. Like if people want to be non-binary, then I see no problem with that. If like if they if they feel different in their own skin and they want to be like identify as something else, then I have no complaints about it. Like if they're not bothering me with it, if they're not harassing me about it, then like power to them, you do you kind of thing.
Yeah,
But I do think people who throw it in your face and like make a big deal about it is a little obnoxious sometimes. And like
fair.
there was this dumb comment. I didn't really like the comment, but I kind of no, there's no upside to it. It was just a dumb comment, but I mean, someone made a comment a while back about like um I hate all these like ugly people who decide they want to be a different gender because they're unattractive and don't have a partner or something. And that was just like that was like an ouch comment. Like that was pretty bad. I thought it was really stupid. Um
It just makes no sense.
no, it's really stupid. It's like I mean or it was like when you're ugly and unattractive so you switch genders so you can have a partner or so you can have a boyfriend or girlfriend or something. And it was like, wow, that's just kind of rude to even say that. But
First of all,
I
first of all,
kind
that's
of,
rude. Second of all, that just makes no sense.
no, I almost understood it for like a minute, like where they were coming from, I guess, because maybe they had their own bad experience with it. Like maybe, I don't know, maybe that was just like a personal problem for them or something.
Maybe.
But I quickly was like, no, that's just fucking rude. That's dumb. That's dumb and that's rude.
Yeah.
So it was like 30 seconds to a minute of going, huh, analyze this. I guess I see what they're saying. No, no, they're just dumb. Like, so,
Good analysis.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
What's up, Dank?
there
What's
was
up, Mayo? It's nice to see you guys in here.
uh,
I am doing a podcast. I got Assault Mode Master Jo with me. Azul might be joining me later. If either you wanted to join in for the podcast, I would be fine with that. If you guys just want to sit back and listen, that is also cool. I don't want to have too many people in here. If you wanted to join the waiting lobby, I could drag you in. If you just want to watch, that's fine too. If you want to ask questions, we'll get around to answering them at some point. But for now, Jay and I are just gonna talk about stuff. First ever podcast. Podcast.
podcast.
Podcast. Yeah. Podcast. Hold up. No, I got this. Where to go? Podcast. No, I'm just joking. This
Naming
is
them.
nicotine. This is nicotine.
Uh,
Yeah.
um, I had a moment like this is my first year of college, so
Oh,
I'm
really cool.
still kind of new to like this whole uh, living your own life kind of thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
back when I was in high school, I quickly joined I joined a friend group, as you would call it. You
yeah,
know, I got
yeah,
invited to a Discord group full of people who just wanted to be friendly with each other,
yeah.
and there was one person in it who his name is Core, sounds like a guy, is actually a girl, but is non-binary.
Sounds like a guy. is actually a girl but is non-binary.
right? And
Sounds hot.
they treated like it was, oh my God, of course you would say that. Of course
Dude,
you would say
non-binary
that.
people are hot as fuck, honestly. Like,
But anyways, I
yeah,
had
sorry.
no idea how to like respond to the fact that they were saying that. I just was like, oh, okay, cool. Now
Yeah,
what? And
yeah,
that's kind of my response to most people who like say their gender. Is like I don't really treat people differently
yeah.
when
Nor
they
should
have a
you.
different gender. My
Yeah,
initial thought is mainly like, I don't know, confusion, and then I'm like, okay,
that's
well, this
fair.
is this person's decision. But then there's those people. Have you
It's
heard of like the xeno pronouns?
I have. I don't know much about them. They kind of weird me out because they're all like Z, Zay, Zy, or
Yeah,
whatever. I have no
exactly.
idea what any of them are. I'm not that deep into that culture. I just like I have. I don't know. I have one gender fluid friend. I have one, two, three, four they them friends that I can think of off the top of my head. The so gender fluid is like he, she, they. It goes by
Hmm.
anything, doesn't care. They
Yeah,
non-binaries are just like they them's, a
yeah,
guy who identifies as a girl, you still call them a she her because they identify as a girl, even though like that's Time Lord, the person who's right up here,
yeah.
alpha mode streams. It used to be Time Lord's server, and that's a guy. Time Lord has a penis, but she came out on stream saying she was transgender. And so ever since then, I have specifically used she, her pronouns whenever talking about the Time Lord because she identifies as a female, so I'm being respectful. And so it's kind of just about respect. It's respecting someone else's decision and someone else's, really just someone else's decision about their own life. And it's, if you want to be friends with them, then you kind of just like you respect them, and it's like give and take.
Yeah.
You give them respect, and they give it back because you're respecting their personal opinion. Respect
Right, yeah, I
identity,
respect you, you
exactly,
respect
Newman.
me, exactly.
Yeah, so and sometimes
The
it's hard for
reason, yeah,
people to deal with, and a lot of people aren't comfortable with it. And there's like, the racists, the rednecks, the Trump supporters, which also, this is anti-Trump stream, so get the fuck out if you
fair.
support Trump. That we're
Yeah,
not we're not about that in
I
this
don't.
life. I'll
Don't
ban you
support him,
from
but I
chat
also
if you
don't
support
support
Trump
Biden.
and you start talking about that, unless it's in a joking manner and it's obvious you're joking. Like, yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
Spider. Fuck Trump. Thank you. Like, no, Trump is not okay. We're not getting into politics right this minute. Maybe we can later, but right now, gender
no,
stuff is
fair.
a good topic. So go ahead.
Great. The reason why I brought up this, the whole like pronoun bit was the first, like, I don't know, social gathering that I went to while I was in college. It was like probably like near end of August. Um, it was for a D&D meetup, but I mean, my initial reaction after this gathering had ended was just a bit of confusion because like three people in the group introduced themselves as like he, they, and then used a couple xeno pronouns, and I was just genuinely like, why? Why
Yeah.
do you use pro? Why did you make up newer pronouns or make up different pronouns? And then I went and actually looked it up, and it was like, yeah, well,
Okay.
the Z, Zay, C, say, the X one, those are pronouns that you can don if you are uncomfortable with people using they as a pronoun.
Oh, see, I didn't know
Yeah,
that. Thank you for
yeah,
telling me. I didn't know that.
yeah.
Now everyone knows. Yeah.
Now everyone knows learning moment.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I think that's like a lot of people's reactions to something they don't know about. It's like the whole the fear of the unknown bit, and that's why like there's a lot of common ideas on like social media and also on the news is well, I guess oppression of the homosexuals and all those like people who come out as something that was not previously deemed as
Pansexual,
like
bisexual,
sexual, bisexual. Yeah,
homosexual, lesbian,
exactly.
gay, fucking asexual, all the LGBTQAI whatever. There's so many of them now. Like
Yeah.
there's definitely a lot of stigma in that area, and since Obama, like oh, he's not joining. That's alright. Since self-sexual. Okay.
Thing. It's a thing.
Is it?
It's basically narcissism to an extreme degree.
Oh God, I don't think I've heard about that.
Yeah. It's being so full of yourself that you would make out with yourself in a mirror if you could.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know that was a thing. Okay. That's pretty funny. No, I mean, I'm pansexual, so I just think that like attractive people are attractive. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care if
That's
you're a he, a she, a they, a them, a she as a he as a she, Z's a whatever. If you're attractive, you're attractive. That's it. That's I mean, that's about it. So that's how I
yeah.
feel, honestly.
I
So
don't know my own sexuality. I'm just
hey
I
man,
believe
college is a
myself to be
great
a
place to
question mark.
learn. College is a
Just
great
believe
place
myself
to
to be a
learn.
question mark. I kind of believe in the whole like pansexuality idea of like if you're attractive, but I don't want to categorize myself. So
I mean, that's fair.
yeah,
There's nothing wrong with like not categorizing yourself or not labeling yourself as something, because then you're kind of stuck in that box, you know?
yep,
But I kind of like the label just because it helps me identify as it helps me with my own mentality of identifying myself, I guess. So it's like I can reassure myself, or if someone asks me, then I have an answer for their question, you know. I'm not just
yeah.
unsure or get awkward in the moment. So
True.
so yeah.
Whenever someone asks me, like there was a whole bit at a summer camp
Yeah.
that I was at a while ago. I may have already told you this, but
I don't think so.
there was a request for every counselor to on their name tags put their preferred
Oh
like
yeah, no,
gender
you did talk to
identity.
me about this. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Go on
didn't.
though.
Oh, for those of you in the chat who didn't hear this story, I didn't put identity on mine because I really don't care. Like, it's if you are so caught up and don't want to make me feel uncomfortable by misgendering me, I'm sorry. I'm still not telling you what my gender is. I look like a guy. I believe myself to be a guy, but if you think I'm a girl and you call me a girl, I'm not going to correct you. I genuinely
I
do
mean, if
not
you
care.
don't care, that sounds more like gender fluid. Not to like label you or anything, but that does
But
sound like
I believe myself to be a guy, but I'm not going to get mad at people for calling me a girl.
okay, okay. I
Yeah,
mean,
so I
that's not really gender fluid, then that's different. I mean, it's like if you're comfortable being called he, she, they, or whatever pronouns, and you identify as all of the above, then that's more gender fluid, I believe. I
yeah,
think. I'm not 100%, but I think that's what it is. So,
I think that makes sense.
yeah.
Um, yeah, there was yeah, so I didn't put my oh god, I just completely forgot what I was going to say.
Didn't put your
Um,
name tag on the.
didn't put my name tag on there, and no one batted an eye. So like they made this whole request, like, oh yeah, put your gender identity on your name tag, and then they just didn't say anything to
See, I
anyone who
think
didn't do it.
there's like this stigma going around about people being too politically correct nowadays, as opposed
Yeah,
to like what is just outright not being an asshole compared to being too politically correct. Like if
yeah,
someone said, like if I were to say, hey, I'm coming out as a female and I'm transgender and I want you to use her, she pronouns, and you were just like, I don't care, I'm calling you a he, him, you're being an asshole.
yeah,
If I said, uh, I don't know exactly where I was going with that, but like people being too PC, I guess, when they like get caught up in like if I were, for example, if you were to slip up by mistake and say he, him by accident, and I were to go off on you and like cuss you out or something, and be like, no, they're fucking she, her pronouns or something, and I told you off and I got angry at you and then I stopped talking about you, that's just being like too PC. That's me being an
Yeah.
asshole. And that's
Yeah.
too much PC culture. And that's when it goes too far. Because you're believing so much in one thing that you are like kind of becoming the thing you hate, but vice versa, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
sort of. I
You're
don't know.
so uptight about getting someone's gender right that you enforce their chosen gender as though it's the law for them now, and you try to force other people to act like that
Yeah, and like if
instead
someone
of
makes a
them
simple mistake about it, then that's kind of like,
breaking
it's
the law.
like I have three female born friends who all go by they them pronouns. One of them might be like she they or something, and so I just call all three of them they thems because I don't remember which one it is. So I just call all of them they them pronouns. But every once in a while, I mean, they all got tits. I fuck up. I say she or her, and then I correct myself and I go they them, and they don't bat an eye because they know I just slipped up and it's like an accident, and they don't care.
Yeah,
And so those are the kind of people that like you should surround yourself with because they're not being assholes about it. Like they're not being
fair.
rude or demeaning you or like belittling you for making a simple mistake. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. See, like, unfortunately for me, I didn't really surround myself with people who
Identify differently.
identified outside the box. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I didn't really do it
I
on purpose. It just kind of
yeah,
happened for me. So
I grew up at the first elementary school I went to. There were, I think, a total of 4 or 5 darker skinned students at my school. In the second elementary school that I went to, there were also maybe 4 or 5, and the high school that I went to was completely different. And while I had no like stereotypical rigid thinking in my head, it just didn't really phase me. It was just like going from one place to another. I don't think I spent enough time at a single place to really solidify my own opinions about stuff. So I've
okay.
always been kind of like accepting of everything that a person has wanted to say.
Yeah.
And so
Like
like
to what degree?
if a person says I'm non-binary, I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Now I know now I know. I'm not going to treat
Yeah.
you any
Yeah.
differently."
No,
Like
that's kind of the same for me.
and like a person coming out as trans right in front of me, like, okay, well, I mean, do you want me to treat you any differently? No, cool. Then now I just know that you're trans. Like,
Yeah.
some, I don't know. I'm so, uh, I go on Twitter a lot as for my pastime, and while I don't particularly focus on like the political Twitter where people are there to share all their hate for a specific group of people, I still happen to see it even in places that don't like wish for that kind of uh, thinking to be there, and it's always catches me off guard. Like I've never had a genuine thought in my mind to think negative thoughts about a person because they live a life differently than me or they have a gender that I grew up knowing that that gender didn't exist.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
think, okay, this person's trans, this person's non-binary, this person is pansexual, this person is homosexual. Okay,
Good for you.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Congratulations. We
That's
can
it.
still be
Cool.
friends. I'm not gonna think
Yeah.
differently of you. Yeah, same for me. I I grew up in a hippie lifestyle. I am very much so a hippie, more of a hippie pagan. Um and so I grew up like around naked people all the time, like seeing naked adults as a kid and shit. And it's not like in any way pedophilia. It's like love and care and positive energy and vibes and like niceness throughout different humans going, oh hey, I'm just so comfortable in my own skin that I'm going to be nude around a bunch of other people. And that's like the choice I'm making because we are at a area for camping during a festival that is literally clothing optional. Literally. So it is clothing optional. So if people want to be nude, they can be nude. If people want to be half nude, they can be half nude. If people want to be fully clothed, they can be fully clothed. It doesn't really matter. There's no difference really. It's just like sometimes there are people who show up and they're creeps and they stare at like women with their fucking shirts off and stuff, and that does happen. But it's few and far between. It's more of a rare occurrence than like a frequent thing that happens. And so that's good. But I grew up in sort of that kind of lifestyle and like eating healthy, eating all natural, organic ingredients, and like, treating others how I'd want to be treated, which wasn't great at the time of growing up because I was an asshole as a kid, I'll admit. And I treated others kind of poorly, and so others treated me kind of poorly. But that is very much so in my past, and now I'm very much a firm believer of, always treat someone nice because you never know when someone had a bad day because unless they tell you. And when someone has a bad day, treat them extra nice because they need it, you know?
Do it!
Oh god, that was
Absolutely
loud.
agree. What was that?
The do it from Dank.
Oh.
I should take the time to like turn off blurps before doing a podcast, but I think I'll leave it on there for fun. I just hope no one abuses and spams. I don't know, Spider, if anyone starts spamming blurps, time them out for 10 minutes, but if it's just like one here, there, two here, there, or whatever, it's fine. But that was funny, Dank, so it's fine. Just because the point of a podcast is to sit here and talk about stuff, so I don't want someone flooding chat with a bunch of noises and like not being able to hear the conversation flowing, you know?
Yeah.
And so, here's a cool thing. Have you heard of someone named Jason Silva?
Jason Silva, that name is familiar.
He is kind of Facebook famous. I know, Spider. It was kind of annoying to me too, but it was in good fun. Anyways, Jason Silva is kind of like a philosopher.
Yeah.
You just look him up.
Well, yeah, he's on a TV show called Brain Games.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
that show.
Yeah, same guy. So Jason Silva is one of my favorite people on the planet just for the sheer amount of how much how intelligent he is when he speaks his words. You know? He's just really, really intelligent. He talks, like, the way he put it one time was a conscientious stream of thought. Like, when you get in the zone about what you're talking about, you know? Like, people, have you seen the movie Soul?
I was gonna say.
All right, so yeah, you get the reference for in the zone then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I talk about in the zone, I think of Soul, and that is a very picturesque feeling you can get from when you think about in the zone if you've seen the movie Soul, which I would recommend everyone in chat go watch Soul at some point, like later on in the next week. Watch the movie Soul. It's on Disney Plus. It's so fucking good. It's about a jazz musician, and it's got some good music in it. It's got a really good story. It's got an interesting take on reincarnation and the soul, the actual soul of a human. And it's just a really interesting take. I recommend people watch it.
That may invent its own religion.
They what?
The movie could possibly invent its own religion.
Seriously though, that I could believe that. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
But being in the zone as far as like when you're playing sports or playing music or making food or working a job or literally just talking, that can be, you can say some of the most profound, beautiful sentences that anyone has ever heard if you're in the zone. you know, and being in the zone, I believe, can be, as Jason Silva has said, a conscientious stream of thought or thoughts, conscientious stream of thoughts. And
Oh,
it was, I watch his videos every so often on Facebook whenever I just like think about it or they pop up on my notifications. I haven't watched them recently, which makes me kind of want to watch one now, but I'll do it later. Um, but his videos really are genuinely amazing. I would recommend, like, if you want some life motivation or inspiration to like better yourself, just check out some of his videos on Facebook. Genuinely, it's really cool dude.
definitely. I think my mom showed me some videos. 'Cause I think there's some meditation videos that she took an interest in. Yeah, it's like talk. I was like letting your mind flow like the ocean or something like that, thinking about the ocean.
Like a stream,
Yeah, I just
like a stream
let
of
your mind
water
go.
just flowing. Yeah, like you don't even think about what you're saying, you're kind of just saying it,
Hmm.
but at the same time you're hyper analyzing everything you say while not thinking about it. It's really cool, honestly.
It's the baseline for Ultra Instinct.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's not a good spider, I'm sorry. Her mouse died today. That sucks.
Oh,
That's big
man.
sad. I haven't had a pet in probably around a decade. I had a dog for 1 day and then it got out of the house and ran away and I never saw it again.
That's
Yeah, but it was like an adopted pet. It was like someone else couldn't take care of the pet and it needed a home, so we took it in. And then it like pissed and shat all over the floor because it was a really small house and it wasn't trained very well. And then it got outside when we opened the door and it ran away and we looked for it and it never came back.
that's unfortunate.
It was terrible. It was awful.
I've had I've had the pleasure of having four different dogs in my house, and
At the same
the
time or different?
sadness, not two dogs at a time.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
and the sadness of watching every one of those dogs also perish.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and the most recent one was like maybe a year and a half ago, and she uh, came with like we got two dogs at the same time, and they came as like a package deal.
Okay,
So
neat.
yeah, she had like a couple birth defects. Her previous owners were like abused her, so she had a
Mm,
bit of a
that
learning
sucks.
disability as well.
Damn.
And her beloved partner died like 3 years before she did, and uh, she kind of died internally a couple of years before she died externally.
Damn.
It was painful to see. She went from like running around the house with him and like laying down next to him almost every day to just sitting in a corner and sleeping for 12 hours a day.
Yeah, I know the feelings as far as that goes with a pet. I had a pet rabbit for maybe 2 to 3 years. I had a pet rabbit. Um and at one point my pet rabbit just stopped eating and started hiding under the shed outside. And maybe like 2 weeks later we just found him dead because we like wouldn't see him for a couple days at a time. Occasionally he'd come out and like nibble on a tiny bit of food. You're like, leave, dude. My rabbit's name was Joey, and he loved bananas. My rabbit adored bananas. So I'd go outside and like I'd feed him a full banana, and teeth problems. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think he just got sick. I don't know what exactly it was. So,
The dog's teeth fell out, like
ooh,
I don't know,
damn.
maybe a year before she perished. So we had to mix in wet food and some warm water to like turn her dog food into a soft enough
Like kind of soupy.
meal for her to eat. Yeah, kind of soupy so that she can
Slurp it
actually eat
down.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn, that sucks.
yeah. Well, that's the life that she lived for like the last year. And
That's hard though.
yeah,
Living with a pet that suddenly dies, I feel like is a lot less hard than living with a pet that slowly dies because
yeah,
you're sad throughout the whole time knowing that they're slowly going throughout that whole entire time.
yeah. My mom has a bit of a tough time saying goodbye to pets. Um, she, I said to her, oh, probably a while before we went to get the dog put down. It's like at some point you're not really paying to keep the dog alive, and the dog is just being tortured because they're unable to die thanks to you.
Yeah,
And
that's
yeah,
I get that. That's kind of like old people in general with like
hmm
when someone is so old that they have to like be changed and take like 25 pills a day and they have to be spoon fed. I mean, wouldn't you just be happier if you died and passed on? Like, I
legalize
mean,
euthanasia, legalize euthanasia.
yeah.
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 There was something that really surprised me and my mom when we were taking the dog to be put down is normally she doesn't really go outside. Like, trying to get her outside, she struggles, doesn't even like she just fights to leave the house. And on the day that we were taking her to be put down, she just knew. Like she walked perfectly fine into the vet, into the like operating room, laid down just neatly, like it was she knew that that was
Damn.
her day. So
Instinct.
it was crazy. Yeah,
She was probably ready for it.
she was. She wanted to go see her husband. We could call it that.
Yeah. So what are
Well,
your
Spider, where?
thoughts?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I
Okay.
was just gonna ask Spider, where do you live that euthanasia is allowed?
I think
Man, maybe I should move there.
is it like Canada, right?
Oh, Canada? Yeah,
Spider?
that'd be fair.
Yeah.
Canada? Yeah, all right. That's what was your question?
So what are your thoughts on reincarnation or like what happens after death?
See, I grew up learning about like a bunch of different mythologies, and
Yeah.
in my opinion, every mythology is a religion as well. Because Greek mythology is polytheistic, believe
Okay.
in a bunch of different gods and afterlife, all that stuff. Egyptian mythology also believe in a bunch of different gods and afterlife, all that. Norse mythology, exactly the same. And while I see no sign of those gods or minor deities existing, something has to prove to the people who made up these stories or created these stories that kept them going down lines of people. So I
Yeah.
technically believe in like six different types of afterlives.
Okay.
And
That's
oddly
cool.
enough, I don't believe in the afterlife that I was of the religion that I was born into. I'm Jewish, but
Jewish.
I'm
Okay.
unorthodox. I've never learned like anything about the history of my people. I'm 18 and I haven't had my bar mitzvah. I
Oh
just
wow.
celebrate Hanukkah with my family. And
Okay.
also like
Let me
the
let me interject a
yeah,
funny statement really fast and then we can get back to what you were saying.
go ahead.
Is Christianity a pantheon?
Uh Pantheon, I think isn't a pantheon like a home to multiple gods?
Is it multiple gods?
I hold on, let me just look up the definition of a pantheon because I don't know what a
Okay,
pantheon
okay.
is
I just
technically.
wanted to make a dumb joke.
Fine. Pantheon. Uh, yeah, it's a collective of gods, so it is technically
Collective
multiple
of
gods.
gods. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I just
What
thought
was the
that might
joke?
be kind of funny. Just it could Christianity or Catholic or whatever be considered a pantheon? Just because I play Smite, and there's like, I don't know, 10 or 15 different pantheons in Smite. There's like Japanese and Chinese and Greek and Roman and Norse, and there's Polynesian, there's Voodoo, there's Celtic, there's loads of different pantheons. That's most of them. But there's loads of different pantheons in Smite, and I'm also decently versed in mythology just from playing that game alone. Like I have almost 4,000 hours in Smite, and yeah,
Holy.
Jesus and Smite would be funny. Spider. I've thought about it. People have made jokes about it for years. When they gonna add Jesus to Smite? I've heard people talk about it for years. Thought it'd be kind of
Jesus
funny.
isn't part of a pantheon.
Yeah, so I just thought it'd be funny to mention is Jesus in Smite. So
Yeah. Um, do I believe, going back to the original question, do I believe in the afterlife? I believe in afterlives. There's like the Greek
afterlives.
one. Well, there's the Greek version, which is there's like four different things or five different things that can happen to you based on how good or bad of a person that you were. You
Really?
either go to like there's like if you were completely neutral, you didn't do anything outstanding as a person, you go to like this endless wheat field to just wander for the rest of eternity. It's monotonous and really boring. If you were a good person, then you go to Elysium, which is like where all the good people go. I don't see any modern day billionaires going there, but like you get what I'm saying. Then there's
Yeah.
like the fields of torture. I forget what like the actual name of it is, but that's like where all the bad people go. Also, I don't see the billionaires going there. There's another one. It's called Tartarus. That's where all like the demonic people go. Like you were a murderer in your in your life. You were a serial killer. You had
Rapist.
you were a rapist. Like all that stuff. That is where Tartarus. You are unable to have any breaks in life. The air is fucking sulfuric acid. The ground is like on the verge of being lava. It is horrible. And then lastly, there's afterlife, or sorry, rebirth, where you were a good enough person that they will let you wipe all of your memory and be reborn in the next life.
Wow. Okay.
And that's just Greek mythology, and I believe in that. But then there's also
Okay.
Egyptian
Okay.
mythology, where once you die, you have your heart weighed in front of you next to the feather of truth.
Oh,
And
which
if
one is this one?
Egyptian,
Egyptian. Okay, so have
yeah,
you seen? Sorry to cut you off. We can get back to
yeah,
it. Promise.
of course,
But have you seen Midnight Gospel?
I have not.
Go watch Midnight Gospel sometime this week. Make a
Well,
fucking reminder in your calendar or an alarm or something to watch Midnight Gospel. Do you have Netflix?
I do have Netflix,
It is
yes.
on Netflix. It is one of the best shows. It is absolutely fucking amazing. It takes place with, I think, like, I don't know if it's scripted or if it's like this guy Duncan Trussell. He does podcasts and he has like over 500 episodes or something. He's been doing them like one a week for a long ass time. Um, excuse me. I listen to him every so often whenever I get bored or I just want to be like enlightened because he has really cool people on his podcast, and it's just they talk about really interesting stuff. But he has this show called Midnight Gospel, and that show, I don't even know how to put that show into words. It's so amazing. Like I am a fan of Duncan Trussell. I want to call him T Russell, but I think he'd hate that. Or he's probably been being called that
He's not
a lot.
he's not
Like
gonna
T
watch
Russell.
this.
No, he's not. But that'd be, hey, maybe one day, like 10 years down
Yeah,
the line he will. I don't know. If
yeah.
so,
We'll
Duncan Trussell,
possibly
invite
cross
me
it.
to your podcast. I fucking love you. He's
Shout
so
out to
cool
Duncan
though.
Trussell.
Shout out to Duncan Trussell. He's awesome, dude. His podcasts are amazing. His show is amazing. I've been amped and waiting for Midnight Gospel season 2 for almost a year now. Since I first saw it, I've seen it like 3 or 4, 5 times by now. It's just it's a really good show. But they have an episode where they talk about the Hindu um or yeah, Hindu aspect of kind of religion, in where they talk about the afterlife. And there's, spoiler, there's this this So the premise of the show, a little bit, just to get you interested in it. Um, this guy, Clancy, owns this video game machine, and it's a video game. It's like VR, or it's like a VR MMO on crack. It's like you select a planet in this emulated universe, right? It's an entire universe, and you select a planet to go to, and he goes in there and he does a space cast. It's a podcast that goes out into space. And I just thought it was really funny at first, but now it's like really awesome. And in one of the episodes, he goes into this space prison, and we're back.
And we're back.
Sorry about that. So, Midnight Gospel. They're in a space prison, and they die, and they get their heart ripped out and put on a scale, and or actually no, they what is it? I think they get their heart ripped out and put on a scale, and then they like pluck a feather and put the feather on the scale, and then they weigh the heart and the feather of this little soul bird who is like, he's reborn as a chick in the middle life, and then the scale is weighed, and he always ends up being down for like most of the episode. Spoiler, he eventually succeeds, but he like the heart weighs, and then the feather lifts, and then he's like still in the like in the negative as far as his soul goes, and then he gets reborn into who he just was, restarting at the exact moment in time right before he died. And so it's kind of like a time loop of like judging your soul. And so I just thought that was interesting when you were talking about like weighing yourself on the Egyptian scale or something. I thought that was interesting because it was very similar.
They might have just taken the Egyptian afterlife and taken a piece of that, because that sounds exactly like what happens in the Egyptian afterlife. You weigh your heart on a scale with the feather of truth, and then if your heart is heavier, like the sins weighing you down, then a beast.
We're back. 45 seconds. Okay. So Egyptian mythology, talking about what they might have just taken from that.
Yeah, well, it's just like, I don't know if they did an exact what do you call it, copy,
Yeah.
exact reference. It might have been a little too graphic, or just stupid for the show. I don't know. I haven't seen the show, but if they wanted to have the character put in a loop right before his death, uh, but the method of him getting back to where he died would be having his heart devoured over and over again. I don't know. It might be a little too much torture for the show.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
So Spider asked how long I'm streaming for. I will be streaming for probably another 2 to 3 hours. I don't know how long I'll do the podcast for. We could do just a simple 1 hour, which maybe another 10 to 15, 20 minutes, like 15, 20 more minutes of this, and then we could call it quits. Or we could go for another hour if you wanted to, and I could cut it up into segments and have it be 2 episodes, episode 1 and episode 2 with you. So it's up to you.
Either one works.
Yeah.
I'm just here to have fun.
Yeah. Why don't we do 2 episodes? I wanna get a episode in the bank. Like,
cool.
Do some editing and stuff. So I might take a break after this stream, Spider. So I'll probably be streaming for another hour and 20 minutes doing the podcast, and then probably take like a 15 to 20 minute break, grab some food, go to the bathroom, do a little video editing, try to upload a video to YouTube, and put the other one aside, and then I will start streaming a little Realm of the Mad God. I'm gonna try and go to bed early tonight because I have a bunch of stuff I gotta do early in the morning, but tomorrow, I got plenty of time tomorrow. May even try to do another podcast tomorrow, which anyone's welcome. You're welcome to join again. It doesn't have to be like a one and done thing. You're welcome to join too if you got free time tomorrow. So
I always do.
you always do. So
Yeah.
what's your college schedule look like? What are you
Uh,
majoring in? I want to know about
I
that.
major in psychology, and we've got like one class on Mondays, and then three classes on Tuesdays,
Okay, so your Tuesdays are
one
like
class on
bullet.
Wednesday, three classes on Thursday, and no classes Friday.
Oh,
And
okay, so
I'm a
so
college
Friday,
person.
Saturday, Sunday are like free for you.
Yeah,
So you actually have the
basically.
weekends off. That's pretty chill.
Yeah. And
Nice.
what I really enjoy, although I do need to be careful how I go about this, uh, my math class, which happens Monday through Thursday, like every day at 4 o'clock.
Oh damn.
Uh, it is technically a lecture class, and it is a 70-person attendance class. And the teacher stated day one that she is not taking attendance on any of the days, which basically means that attendance is optional.
Oh, okay. So
So, I
have
mean,
you not always been going?
not always. Have I'm like incredibly good at mental math. If
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
a math equation, I just most of the time, as long as it doesn't include graphing, I
Oh,
cannot visualize graphing. But
that would be hard to do.
yeah, if most math stuff I can just do in my head, and then
Most
I really
simple
piss off
math
the
I can
teacher.
do. Like if it's even like double to triple digit numbers, if it's like even dividing or multiplication, I can still do it pretty okay. If it's like a triple digit with a double digit number, I could still multiply or divide it decent. Dividing, little more difficult, obviously. Multiplying, I could do like a triple digit and a four digit. In my head, it might take me like 30 seconds to a minute, but I could still do it.
Fair.
But as far as
Yeah,
like single and double digit numbers in my head, multiplication, dividing, fucking adding, subtracting, I can do it like that. Like it's nothing to me. So,
good stuff. Uh,
so
so yeah, Monday and Wednesday I'm generally free. Tuesday and Thursday, I've got some important classes. I've got like a bio lab on Thursdays that is mandatory. Like you cannot miss it.
yeah.
Um, Tuesdays, I also have a bio lecture, but it's also mandatory because there's always an assignment in that class due that day that you have to do. So yeah, but
Yeah,
it's been a really relaxing start to my college experience.
that's
But
good.
I firmly believe that as a freshman, I'm allowed to fuck up every now and then.
Yeah, that's fair. Till you get a little more experience in it.
Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah. Um, and now with the help of D&D club, I now have stuff that I'm doing every weekend, which is awesome. And it's really making a social experience out of my college time here.
Oh yeah. So is this an actual D&D club?
There is a D&D club. That's where I sent out the message like, "Hey, I've got this campaign that I'm writing. It is my first time being a DM. However, not however, it's my first time being a DM, and I accept all criticisms," is what I said right off the bat. And I got like 12 people DMing me like within the first 24 hours, like, "Hey, I'm interested."
Damn.
And then I created a separate Discord server so I could keep in touch with those people.
Hell yeah, that's cool, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I DM'd my first campaign last year from maybe February or April till like June. So it wasn't
Wow.
very long, but we were doing 3 times a week.
We're back again.
And we're back again for like the third or fourth time. I lost track. I actually lost track because it's yeah, technical difficulties. We're having trouble here. So we're not going to do the 2 hours because my computer keeps taking a shit on itself and crashing, and I don't know why, because it's a nice computer and it's like maybe a year and a half old. It's a nice computer, not very old, so I don't know what's going on with it. I do plan on doing a Realm of the Mad God stream later tonight. So we'll do maybe another little bit of talking and then end it before it crashes so we can do a proper goodbye.
Mm-hmm. Well, what else is there to add?
I don't know. Figure out something. We were talking about D&D and college stuff. Let's
Oh,
get back
right.
to that.
Yeah, well, what was I talking about?
Oh, I think I
You
was
know,
talking.
oh yeah,
I think I
you
was
were.
talking about my game where I was doing
That's right, the
the
3 days a week bit.
like 3 days a week, 2 to 6 hours a session, but I was also in another campaign doing 3 days a week. So I had D&D 6 nights a week. It
Yeah.
was too much. I did not, and I was working a job where I had to be at work at 7 a.m. like 3 or 4 times a week.
Jesus.
Yeah, so that section of my life was really rough. It was rough, that's for sure. Not great. So
If I
I
got paid to do that,
basically,
I would love to do it.
yeah, I'd totally get paid to do that. It'd be fucking awesome. Yeah, you can like once you get some experience as a DM, you can get paid to be a DM. Like I'm sure it's not an outstanding amount of money, but I mean if you DM'd multiple campaigns, like 2, 3 campaigns a week or something, and just kept files and like just during your free time, which you'd have a lot of free time if that's what you were doing for work, I'm sure you could subsection different things and write out different campaign stories, and like as long as you're a creative person, I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard.
Yeah, well, I'm getting a kickstart on the whole creative bit. I'm
Yeah, you're in
started out
college, you better
by
be creative.
adapting a video game into D&D, and I'm also, well, not really doing much else, but you know.
Yeah, well, that's a good start. That's a good start. I definitely felt like I was being really creative when I was hosting my own campaign, though. That's for sure.
That's good.
Definitely really creative. It was a lot of fun actually. I really enjoyed it. We had like Naruto and Avatar: The Last Airbender and Death Note, llamas with hats, Dragon Ball Z, fucking Seven Deadly Sins, High School
I want to do that.
DxD. Like there was all kinds of stuff in that campaign. It was dinosaurs. It was literally throw something at me. I'll see if I can include it. Yup, I included it. There was never a time when I didn't include something. It was Doctor Who was in it. Like
I want to do that.
it was,
I want,
dude. It
I
was
want
an
to do that.
everything campaign. It was stressful, but I wanted to up it to epic level campaign and start including like Realm of the Mad God stuff more seriously because we did a Realm of the Mad God fight. That's how we started the conversation about this. It's because I was telling you about how I did a ghost ship fight and I was gonna do a Davy
Yeah,
Jones fight. And so the ghost ship fight, I scaled everything way, 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 way back because that thing has like what, like 55,000 HP at like
one player.
one player. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So with like 6 or 7 players, that thing's gonna have like 80 to 90,000 hit points. So instead,
Mm-hmm.
it had like 300, or maybe like 600, or like
Scaled back a bit.
550. Still packing. I mean, they were high levels at that point. They were like
Yeah.
level 6 or 7, so they could do some damage. And they were being really unique about all the stuff I gave them. Like I was turning one of my friends into the Avatar from Avatar: Last Airbender. She
Mm-hmm.
actually, her name was Alex in game, and I started giving her all the powers. And at one point, she started learning bloodbending, right? And
Mm.
oh, also I should premise this with it was kind of a Rick and Morty D&D universe. So the premise for the Rick and Morty universe was Rick Sanchez was so loving and caring of Morty that he basically was God of a universe, created his own universe, like how he did for his car, right? Have you seen Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen Rick and
Okay,
Morty.
yeah. So he created a universe as his car battery, right? So he could easily create another universe to then live inside of as God. And so what he did was created a universe, and that universe is our universe, basically, where we had we had like anything from anime to video games to TV shows to public figures to whatever. And so what Rick did is each individual anime would be a different universe, right? Because they're their own universes typically, unless they're crossovers, right? And
Wow.
so what he did is he matrixed the binary code of each individual universe and copy and pasted characters binary code from that universe into his own universe. So I should premise it actually it wasn't Rick building a universe, it was Rick building a multiverse basically. And so
That's so cool.
he took like he took fucking like One Piece was going to be in it, but I didn't make it that far. Game of Thrones was in it. They had the White Walkers coming. I had stuff planned out for that, but I didn't make it that far. But it ended up being like Dragon Ball Z and Seven Deadly Sins and Avatar: The Last Airbender. And what Rick did is he would find a multiverse with those characters from that multiverse, and he would copy and paste sections of that universe into the universe he built for Morty,
That's crazy.
giving Morty his own universe, raising Morty as a D&D adventurer, because that's one of Morty's lifelong dreams, is going on an adventure, you know, with Rick, or
Yeah.
it's something he just gets put through. And so he ended up basically just building a universe for Morty. And that's what he did. And
Oh,
that was the backstory behind that was the backstory behind my campaign.
that's
It's pretty fucking cool, isn't it?
that's yeah, that's so cool.
Right?
You
It was pretty
created a
unique and
sandbox.
creative. It was pretty
You
unique
made a
and creative, I
sandbox
thought.
into an entire universe. It's so
Yeah,
cool.
dude, it was fucking awesome. I really loved that campaign. I would play it again if I got inspired or got the motivation or could get the players back into it. But I'd also have to find the free time, and then I'd have to cut down on streaming because I'd have to start doing campaign writing. So I'd rather just play in a campaign than host a campaign, you know? So, which I actually just tonight, I stopped playing in my other campaign that I'm playing in, my 5e campaign, because the DM messaged me like, hey, I know you haven't really been, or you seem like you haven't really been into the campaign lately, and that's cool and all. So if you want to like take a break, or you want me to do something with your character and like come back later, then that's fine. I was like, you know, I have noticed that too. I have been kind of like distant. Like it's every other Monday we play, which is today, and I
Hmm.
forgot about it again because it just so happened that one of my friends from out of state ended up coming to town, and I wanted to go and hang out with him. And then while I was hanging out, I looked at my phone and I saw Discord notifications about tonight's game, and I went, "Oh shit."
Whoopsies.
Yeah. And so I kind of just am going to be on hiatus from that game for a while because I kind of haven't been into it lately. And the 3.5 campaign I'm playing in, I've been on hiatus from, but everyone's been on hiatus from it. We just haven't been playing in general. We haven't been meeting up to
Yeah,
play because we play IRL for that one. Um,
gotcha.
but it is a lot of fun. I have this warlock named Dama,
Dama, the
or
Warlock. That's right.
sorcerer,
You
a
mentioned it before.
sorcerer, not a warlock.
Sorcerer?
Yeah, sorcerer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, potato
One
potato.
thing, one thing I'm definitely looking forward to is the crazy different directions that my campaign can go in, just based off of the people
Oh
who are playing.
yeah.
Because like the this campaign with Group Two, I haven't even started with Group One yet, but since Group Two has a Warlock with the Twilight Archmage as his like deity pact, whatever, I just started out right at the beginning with the Void Entity extending his reach to curse enemies on the further reach of the realm. So,
Okay.
like, they go into a forest maze and they meet the Ent Ancient, and I gave them the option to either fight the Ent Ancient or just talk with it. And they chose to talk with it, so while they're talking with it, a demon from the Abyss of Demons teleports in and is magic given to him by the Void Entity to curse the Ent Ancient, so now the Ent Ancient is now cursed and angry. Like imagine an accursed Ent Ancient in the realm. Like instead of the usual brown and red, it was like purple with emerald green eyes or something like that. That's kind of what it became. And like so they're unable to fight at level one. So they leave, and while they're out and like exploring the Forbidden Jungle, the Warlock gets a message from the Twilight Archmage, and he gives him the ability to use Dispel Magic only on accursed enemies at level 1, so that he can free cursed targets throughout the realm as like
Ooh.
a special ability. But like the other group doesn't have a Warlock. They don't have some special deity who could give them
Oh
the
no.
ability to
So are you going
cursify this
to
stuff.
basically run the same campaign in two different groups?
No, it's not going to be the same campaign. It's going to be the same general story. They will go into a forest maze, but since they don't have a magic caster who can just stop cursed enemies, Ent's not going to get cursed. There's
Oh,
not going to be
gotcha.
some kind of B plot. It's going to be instead the Ent is going to give them a quest further down the line to go speak with his god at the Woodland Labyrinth.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
The fairy god?
So fairy god
Or the fairy or whatever?
or what would it be? Or maybe they'll meet like the fountain spirit at the Woodland
Yeah,
Labyrinth,
that's
and
what I meant. The
they'll just
fountain
skip.
spirit.
Yeah,
That's what I meant. Yeah.
fountain spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead of going into the magic woods, they'll go into the labyrinth. Stronger monsters lie, but there will be a singular like a magic
Or
pool
the
in
megamoth or
the
whatever.
instead of them. I don't know. I can't really. I don't really know how to have them interact with a giant butterfly.
I mean, it could be, you could have it be a caterpillar and just transform like later down the campaign, like every couple to few months or something, you have them revisit the woodland labyrinth and then it's different now. That's a cool idea.
Fair, yeah, and well, I'll need to check and see if there's a druid who's able to speak with it. Because once again, the my campaign and the directions it goes in, this might just be my own lack of creativity or just a different kind of creativity. But my campaign story heavily relies on the characters that are playing it,
Yeah.
so it can go in different directions depending on the classes you're playing.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's cool. I like that.
so,
That's a good adaptation
yeah. Like, did
for
you
for
did
a
you even
DM. That's
know?
good.
Yeah. Did you know that in the Woodland Labyrinth, if you go in strictly with a sword class, you can get a free Sky Splitter?
Yeah, the stone in the ground or the sword
Yeah,
in the ground.
the sword and the stone. Yeah, I didn't know about that. But imagine if there was a group with no magic casters, and I still tell them about the magic sword, and they all try to pull out the sword, but no one is able to. But then another group with a melee user, a paladin, fighter, whatever, go in there, and I mention the sword, and the paladin's worthy enough to pull out a Sky Splitter. It
That's
will
some
be a Sky
fat
Splitter.
loot, bro.
Yeah, imagine
You
using
might
a
have to
Sky
make
Splitter
that
with like a
pretty
level
late game
6,
though,
but I might not
and just give
because
them an early game.
give them an early game really good weapon. Like I gave
You're gonna have to tone
the
it down though.
well, that's the thing. I might just upscale everything in power because like in the
That's
first
fair.
campaign,
That's fair.
I gave the party a singular Corsair ring.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
the Corsair ring in Realm is
One
pretty
D.
okay for
So is it like
starter.
one DR?
No,
What is
it's
it? What's the
10 temporary hit points, 2 AC, and +3 to hit.
shit? See,
At a
I think
level
I would have
1, and they
actually
put that on
just
the
done the
paladin.
plus 20 HP and then plus one AC.
I realize that, but I also am going to take measures to upscale the enemies in the future. Maybe not upscale the damage, but upscale their own ability to hit players.
Okay.
So I don't know. I give a basilisk +5 to hit, but lower their damage to 1d4, but also apply the poisoned effect, giving the poison target disadvantage on
So let
attack.
me ask you something, because this is what I was gonna do after the ghost ship fight ended. Are you going to roll like a percentage die for loot bags?
Well, yes, I
Say
was going to do
say
a luck check.
a
I do a
luck
luck
check,
check with play. Yeah, with every player who
like a
every
D100.
player we'll do a D20, and whoever rolls like an 18 or higher gets a selection from one of three magic items. Like that that
You
exact
could,
thing
I mean, you
happened.
could do the D100 though, just because. I mean, well, how many players do you have in a
Five
session?
in group, if five in this first group, there's going to be five or six in this other
Okay,
group starting on the
that's
third
enough
session.
people that someone is bound to get like something good. White bags would still be rare, but given
Mm-hmm.
enough bosses defeated, someone's bound to get one eventually.
Yep.
Um, so with a D100, what I was going to do was do like a 50% on a P bag or something, maybe like a 20% on a cyan, or maybe like a 15% on a cyan, 20% on uh like yeah, maybe like
Yes,
a
at different chances.
25% on a cyan, 20% on a blue bag, and then like a 5% or something on a white bag.
Well, there was one
So that's kind of similar with
one
the
yeah,
D20 though, because a 18, 19, or 20 is basically a 5%. I guess a 19 to 20 would be a 5%.
yeah, 19
So,
20. Well, actually 1920 is 10%. I gave him a 15% with the 18 and
oh,
20.
okay.
Um, but
That's pretty good odds.
the way that the last fight ended was they did the Cave of a Thousand Treasures. They fought against the Golden Effigy. I upscaled the difficulty of the fight. It wasn't just battling for non-moving statues that shoot out shots at random. Um,
Well, the statues do move.
okay, the statues do move.
They
That's
rotate in a circle.
they rotate in a circle, but the dungeon has never really been incredibly difficult, has it?
No, you can kind of just stand in the middle, dodge shots, tank shots,
Yeah.
do whatever. If you're
So I
squishy, you can dodge. If you're tanky, you can just sit there and absorb shots and kill the.
basically,
Yeah,
yeah. But I upscaled the difficulty of the dungeon, and these players are still at level one taking on a T cave. So
that's pretty
I
insane. I
upscaled the
would have done a
difficulty of
pirate
the
cave.
damage level. Well, the pirate cave was meant to be the starting tavern. Yeah,
Oh,
so they go and
neat.
meet. Sorry, what's his name again?
Dread,
Dreadstump,
dread
Stump the
stump.
Pirate Lord, and he. I said that the Corsair ring gave him unending vitality, so that he was able to live for a century while still looking middle aged. But as soon as he took off the ring and graced the heroes with this ring, he crumbled to ash.
Oh
Like
shit,
this was
dude.
his parting gift. Like I sacrificed myself to give you a standing chance against Oryx.
Fucking hey. That
Yeah,
yo, I just like resonated all throughout my back right there. That's awesome.
yeah,
That's really cool. I like that a
yeah.
lot.
I like.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, but the way that the effigy fight changed was that instead of four statues all doing the same thing, I split the statues into like different classes. One being a healer, one
Oh
being melee,
yeah.
one just simply pointing his sword at a target and always casting hold person
I
over and over again, just to paralyze one target at a time.
like that you
And
actually pulled out a sword for that.
well, I bring a sword. I also have a gun, a Nerf gun, for those
Yeah.
of you,
Yeah.
Nerf gun in my backpack that I would use for like a slingshot or a launcher or something.
Yeah, that's cool.
Um, but the
So you're like a props kind of DM.
yes, yes,
I
and
like that. I like that a lot.
I also have a battle axe.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, and the thing is, I've had these items long before I even knew about D&D. I just loved
Oh fuck
Nerf
yeah.
when I was younger.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah, but the way that the effigy fight, I mentioned there was a healer, like a paralyzed, and then there was the bomber
The bomber.
who would target a 10-foot area and roll
Oh,
to
the
hit every
AoE guy.
player. The AoE guy. I told you about that.
You did.
The paralyzer landed a successful paralysis on the flyer, so brought him back down to the ground, then targeted everyone in the radius. He was able to hit two of the four people. The paladin wasn't even near the group, and crit on the flyer and killed him, sorry, and downed him in a single
Yeah.
hit.
Goddamn.
And I was like, see, the thing is, I'm upscaling the items so that the players can feel powerful, but at the same time, these aren't easy fights. These
Oh God,
will
no. No.
challenge the players. So, like, I downed a player, I brought someone down to 1 health, and then they won, they killed
Yo.
the effigy, and all the four golden statues crumbled into gold dust.
Did they collect
So,
the gold
because
dust?
no, the dust was magical, so that the effigy, as long as the effigy remained standing at the start of his every turn, any statues around him that had been defeated would recollect and form into statues again back at full health, but their initiative would be cut in half so that they would be interacting later in the turn instead of
Oh God. Fuck
three of them
that.
acting in the same. Yeah. Um, but when the effigy was killed, he crumbled, as did the statues around him, and all that was left was a single chest at the end of in the middle of the room. I asked for them to do a luck check so I could check and see what they would get, and one of them got the ornate armor, which in
Ooh.
game in realm gives you armor, dexterity, and
By
healing upon
healing.
being hit. However, I'm not giving them extra armor class that early, so I just said that it uh, would reduce your armor class back down to whatever you had before you donned like chainmail or something like that. And as soon as you take 10 or more damage in a single turn, until the round ends, any healing that you receive is healed at the maximum number. So it's
Oh
like Supreme Killing
wow.
of Beacon of Hope, except on you specifically, and you have to take damage for it to work.
That's really cool. So it's really good on a
Yeah,
melee.
yeah. And then right
So was
after,
it a
someone
leather
else,
armor or was it a heavy?
uh, I mean, it was a leather armor, I guess, but it didn't really
Did it go on like a
work.
ranger or something then?
I think a ranger took it.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah, I think the warlock took it because he'd already been downed once before we even got to the T cave, and he doesn't like dying.
Yeah.
Um, but then another one hit a nat 20,
Oh.
and I didn't know what exactly to give them, and it was the cleric that hit a nat 20. So I do a quick like mental run through. What do I do? What do I give them? I decided to give him a tome of purification.
No way.
However, I nerfed it. I nerfed it. 3 charges, each
Okay.
one being a cure wounds, and heals all negative effects currently affecting the one target that you are targeting with cure wounds.
So
And
it's like what do you call it then? Because you got to give them a Puri down the line.
oh no, I called it a tome of purification.
Oh, okay. So are
This
you
one,
gonna do
some
like a
some items
tome
are
of
nerfed.
greater purification later?
Well, I might do like a tome of mass purification later. Yeah, probably
Okay, okay.
after they defeat Lord Ruthven.
Yeah.
But I have no idea how to integrate Manor of the Immortals as it's a random encounter dungeon in the realm. So I might do the Manor as a random side quest. If not everyone's available on a single day, then I might have them run some of the dungeons that don't exactly fit into the story. Like about the machine
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
Candyland. I don't know. I don't even know if the nest can fit normally into
That'd
the
be
realm.
hard.
It's also
I
a
mean, it's
random
also an
encounter.
exalt dungeon, so you don't have to worry about
Yeah.
that for like months.
Oh yeah, definitely not. I'm just saying even down the line, it's like there are some dungeons out there that don't exactly fit into the story, and they still have some pretty cool stuff in them. So, in a party, like if we don't really want to run, if we don't have everyone possible, or we don't really want to progress with the story, then I might just have them run one of those side dungeons, and they could get the Tome of Greater Purification, the Helm of the Warrior Bee Helm, whatever it's called,
Yeah.
like something like that.
I
Just
think it's
to
just Bee Home.
yeah, Bee Helm, something
I don't know.
exactly like that.
I think that's just
So
what's nickname though, actually. I don't know. Yeah,
I mean,
I get
yeah,
what you're
Bee
saying
Helm,
though. Like
yeah.
side quests, random dungeons.
Yeah,
That'd be
exactly.
cool.
So like in the event of defeating a boss, I do a luck check and I can give them a really good item and they feel powerful using it, but the fights aren't that easy either.
Yeah.
So it makes
That's
using
cool,
the
dude.
items worth it. Like there was one of I think I told you before, maybe I didn't. Uh every I added in Realm of the Mad God items. So there are the daggers, the swords, the long bows, the short bows, the morning stars, all of the items,
Oh, fuck yeah.
and they all have like the special abilities, except swords are completely mundane. They just have a massive damage boost. Like
Yeah, yeah.
someone hit a what was it, like a 26 on trying to what was it? Make an enemy drop their sword, and this enemy was a powerful one. They got the falchion, which is the tier 4 sword, in the T cave, and it hits for like 2d8 plus 8 damage
Damn.
at level 1.
Oh,
Like,
fuck, dude.
yeah, there's this party hit level 2 at the end of the first session, and they're already able to deal like 24 damage in a single. It's just like, I, I'm not expecting for this to work, and yet it works.
That's great.
Um, but in the. What was I saying before I interrupted myself with getting the Falchion? Oh, right. They'll feel powerful. The fights aren't meant to be easy because down the line, I want to be able to work in maybe even a lair action of the Shatter's Patience phase
Ooh, there you go.
or of Oryx's Celestial phase. Because
Yeah.
there are moments where bosses go invulnerable in Realm, and I don't
I
want to
had
just
that. I
completely
had
miss
that in
that.
the ghost ship fight I did.
Just
So,
it went invulnerable and there were clouds around it.
um, I don't know if it went. I don't know if the clouds were around it after a certain point. Shooting lightning, and it was a pretty big open space. I made it a little bigger to operate than what it really is, I guess. But it had like the small baby skulls on the outside in the sand and stuff, and like sand rose up out of the ground, and there were some trees, and you couldn't fly too high because there were like lightning clouds and stuff that would paralyze you. And I made the shot patterns. I like adapted the shot patterns and everything, and did like uh certain amount of damage, and then the big cannonballs, and it was a lot of fun. It was really cool. But I think it is about time to end the podcast, and
All right.
we can maybe do a podcast tomorrow night and upload it a week later if you're up for that. But I'm gonna do a little video editing. I might hop out of Discord to do some editing, take like a 15 to 30 minute break, and then I'll probably hop on Realm and stream that for a couple hours if you're still gonna be up for a little bit.
I definitely will be. It's not even, yeah, it's 9:30 by me. I'm staying up for 4 hours at least.
All right, cool. Well, I will catch you later, and
Enjoy later.
we can play some more Realm here in a little bit.
Alrighty.
All right.